We love getting your questions, so we want you to keep them coming via Facebook, Twitter, and on our webpage. Who knows, we might just answer your question here in the studio audience next. Welcome back. Our next guest is a former Marine who's dealing with some very disturbing memories, but they aren't just from his experiences in the military. Let's take a look at the video that he sent us.
Hey Spirit and Miles, my name is Bush. I'm making this video because I suffer from some adverse effects of childhood abuse, and it makes some aspects of my life more difficult than one would expect. And I am wondering if there's any advice or wisdom you guys can lend me on how I can overcome some of these obstacles as I go through the rest of my life.
So how can we help you? Why are you here today?
I'm here because I'm dealing with some stress from some childhood abuse, and I'm wondering if you guys can give me some advice on how I can overcome it for, the remainder of my life.
Tell us a little bit about it. What happened?
Well, since I can remember, my earliest memories of me getting in trouble a lot at like preschool and things like that, and I'm hyperactive like any little kid is, and resulting from that, I experienced a lot of abuse.
There was one story that you talked about that happened in preschool that you told our producers about. Can you share that with us?
It was, from the best I can remember, is something happened at preschool or daycare, and I was taken to a parking lot, and I remember I was being beat, and somebody screaming, does somebody want a little boy,
And so that wasn't an isolated event?
No. Other things happened. A lot of beatings and a lot of screaming and yelling and derogatory statements towards me.
I see you smile as you say that, though, and it concerns me.
Yeah, because I learned I guess it's a coping mechanism to make things funny for yourself. Mm-hmm.
But tell me what's behind the coping mechanism. What do you feel really?
I do feel the hurt. Somebody says something to you, you feel that, you process it, it's all there, and you get little flashbacks, and you get the tunnel vision going, and you just, certain keywords, certain even smells sometimes bring up memories that aren't so pleasant. Yeah.
And how has it affected your life?
Well, going into the military, there's already well known that PTSD runs. A lot of the symptoms I have correlate to the same that somebody who survived war attacks would, and I relate to that, and I think I might have it, but I got a lot of insight on that in the Marine Corps. But I was only 18 when I was in. 2 years later, now I'm out, and.
How are you out after only 2 years?
What basically happened was I ended up getting out on like a medical discharge because they didn't go far back enough to check to see if I had any childhood abuse that would trigger PTSD. So because I wasn't deployed, they didn't think I had PTSD.
I identify with a lot of what you're saying, and stuff that's not easy to talk about in front of a lot of people, but we do so in service of each other, because the only way you learn is by sharing knowledge and information and experiences. And yeah, I was beaten a lot as a child, but where we grew up, that was all couched for our own good.
Right.
And I respect some of that. There's a place for stern parenting, but there's no place for out and out abuse.
And so you talk about parents. I'm curious, where are your parents now?
They work, I'm sure. I don't live with them anymore.
Do you have any communications with them?
Not so much, no, not really.
And so who do you have?
Friends are my family, yeah.
And
no cousins, no...
Extended family?
Extended family, yeah. But
When you talked about what you experienced at that young age, you started with preschool and you said sexual, physical, emotional abuse. I saw you kind of disappear a little bit. Then you got really small, and that's really common. I would say in some ways you went back to that age, and then all of a sudden you came back out and you started talking, you made eye contact, and you're like, okay, now this is how I've learned to cope with it. But I gotta think that imprint has impacted and followed you all along the way.
it does.
And I just wanna know what's it costing you now?
It's costing me, I guess, in my adult life, because now, I'm 20, and I have to learn how to network with other people, and for most of the time it's an act. I guess I don't show my anxieties as well as some other people. Not as well, but it's not as prominent. But just in dealing with like jobs, getting jobs and things.
Are you working now?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. But
So you're not working now. You have no friends or family. Okay, where are you living now?
Santa Monica.
Santa Monica.
Yeah.
I want to get real because we really want to help you.
Right.
And so you cannot change what you will not acknowledge. And we want to help you with that change.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to start and I want to ask you again, where are you living in Santa Monica?
Santa Monica Boulevard.
On the street?
Yeah, on the street.
Okay,
The
no.
street.
Before, it kind of sounded like you had a pad, a spot,
Nah,
or some
not
friends
yet.
in Santa Monica.
So your whole life you've had to only depend on you and hold it all together. But I wonder what it would look like for you just to let go and to really deal with all of that, because I don't know how I could laugh and be able to say, it's okay, I have nowhere to live, but that's okay. I'm not connected to any place, but that's okay. How are you holding all that together?
With myself, I guess. I'm really confident in what I can do with my abilities to get out of this situation. I feel like surviving what I have survived as a child, even though I'm still dealing with some issues, that's why I'm here today, that my talents, what I've learned throughout my youth and through my short stay in the military, that's gonna afford me a lot of opportunities that I haven't yet discovered.
I don't want to take away from the momentum and in this positive outlook you've built around you, but guess what? It's not working. You're broken. You don't have a home right now.
That's true.
That's real. And so the facade's not going to get you anywhere with us. We're here to help you. If you were here to come, if you came here today to tell us what's working, then you don't need us. I'm more concerned about why you're living on the street right now and why none of this is coming to fruition.
It's when you build this, what you call a facade, or these coping mechanisms, I guess sometimes they get so strong to the point where you don't even realize when somebody's trying to help you that maybe you should stop for a little bit. Maybe you should take that helping hand, and then they'll pull you out of that hole. And I see where you're coming from. This is very real, and sometimes I forget that because that helps me survive. And my thing in the Marines is about survival. And
but help us help you here.
I guess one of my questions was for you guys was, how could I overcome what I survived in my youth to not feel like a victim?
What part of you feels like a victim?
The part that's on the street, I guess, because I live in a place where, I see a lot of signs of success, Ferraris and things like that. I feel like, why am I left out? I'm capable.
The problem here is that you can't connect. You're disconnected from life.
I agree, and we're kind of coming at this because obviously I think you need some counseling. I think you need some help because I think obviously right now you need food, water, and shelter.
Basic necessity.
If we were to put that, if we were to hand you right now and say, okay, we got you a spot, we're going to put you up for a little time, chances are if you walk out of there in 2 weeks, you're going to be right back where you were because you don't have the coping skills to keep you from getting to where there in the first place.
And
You agree with that?
Right.
Yeah.
There's a place called Milestones, and it's at on-site, and it's long-term trauma care with some of the best people in the country. Long-term means that you'll be there for up to possibly 30 days. It will be something that will change your life. It's a necessary step. What I would love to do is see you get on your feet, get some shelter and food and water first, but in this case, I'm afraid you won't be able to hang on to it. We want you to have this opportunity. I need to know that you'll commit to it and lean into it.
For sure.
Do you want it?
I want that.
Will you show up? And I don't just mean physically.
I bring it all. I bring everything I got.
That's all we can ask. Good job today. Thank you.
Semper Fi, dude. Semper Fi.
We'll be right back. You did a good job. You did a good job. Coming up.
Tell me what starving yourself from sex looks like.
Starving myself from sex is basically not having any sex at all. Just
Like how long? What's your...
My record is 8 years.
We love getting your questions, so we want you to keep them coming via Facebook, Twitter, and on our webpage. Who knows, we might just answer your question here in the studio audience next.